Today we are driving deep into the Valle Vidal, the Valley of Life, a Rocky Mountain oasis hidden in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. The Valle Vidal is a shining example of why America's public lands are so precious. This 102,000 acre parcel in north central New Mexico holds the largest elk herd in the southwestern United States. Not to mention deer, bears, antelope, cutthroat trout, and even bison. Its remoteness in the heart of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains means plenty of solitude, whether you're hiking, biking, fishing, or just going on a spectacular drive. So back where we came from, nice clear blue skies. But unfortunately where we're going, dark, ominous, rumbly skies. So off in the distance, we have a thunderstorm sparking off. And if we look over here, we see what's often the result of these thunderstorms. Some fire evidence. But even though there's a couple of these trees dead, this is actually not bad because we can see that the bottoms of those ponderosas are dead. What that's doing is pushing the crown of the tree up. And as it pushes the crown of the tree up, it actually makes the tree more resilient to fire. And while we have this obvious evidence of fire, we can see how quickly the meadow here has obviously recovered. So this is actually fire working as it should. Well, we finally came into the rain. But the good news is it looks like we might actually punch right through it here. Whoa. Our rain has now turned to hail just in time for us to be reaching one of our destinations. So it is July 22nd when this is being filmed. And we got some snow and hail. Just goes to show you how unpredictable New Mexico weather can be. According to Daniel, that mountain far off in the distance there is Wheeler Peak. Subject of an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. We are at a place called Shuree Ponds. Seems like a pretty popular fishing hole. So there's a children's pond. So that's why Daniel's right at home with his Matchbox cars. A whole family of ducks enjoying the children's pond. Mom out there with the kids. I wonder if since they're kids, that's why they're on the children's pond. So there's some sort of abandoned lodge here at Shuree Ponds. It's kind of made more spooky by the thunder in the background, but we're gonna check it out nonetheless. It says, welcome to Shuree Lodge, Cuesta Ranger District. Well, doors are open. Why don't we take a look? Well, this certainly was a unexpected find. For some reason there's a rope ladder. This is kind of a little bit on the kind of creepy side. A whole bunch of beds in this room. You know, it doesn't seem like it's been abandoned that long. There's a bottle of Ajax right here, or a can of Ajax. Here's the kitchen. I'll have to do some research about what this place was. I really have no idea. There's the refrigerators. There's no way I'm opening those refrigerators. Here's another. Looks like these were fairly nice guest rooms at one time. There's a kitchen, a stove, sink, heater, 4 different beds, and probably a ton of hantavirus, so I'm getting out of here. Here's some stairs going into pure darkness. That's a big nope on me going up there. Oh, that just freaked me out. Oh, that just scared me. There's a deer head and an elk head. Information on Shuree Lodge was actually fairly sparse. Apparently it was used as a hunting lodge by rich and famous, including Herbert Hoover and Douglas Fairbanks. This version of the lodge appears to have been built in the 1950s, and it appears that it was probably abandoned in the mid to late 1980s. Here we have a fairly unusual sight. That is a pronghorn antelope. Now these meadows make excellent habitat for the pronghorn, but you don't often see them in amongst trees, so this is pretty cool. It's a pronghorn antelope, or just an antelope, or a pronghorn. There is an enormous grasshopper in this shot. Can you find him? He's got some really good camouflage. Here he goes. So speaking of camouflaged, once again, right in the center of our screen is a creature. Can you see it? There's a mule deer. That's it. I was just doing a little reading, and apparently Cimarron Campground, where we are right now, is one of the top 10 campgrounds according to the Great Outdoor Recreation Pages, or GORP, in the United States.
I believe it. You know, look at the trees around us. They're at good elevation. You could come up from lower elevation. And it's nice. Right now, look, we're both in jackets.
Yeah. So the Valle Vidal here has some pretty interesting history to it in terms of ownership. It was originally part of the Maxwell Land Grant, and then
1902.
Yeah, in 1902 it was bought by a guy named William Bartlett, and Bartlett had it up until the 1970s when he sold it to, believe it or not, the Pennzoil Corporation. And then eventually the Pennzoil Corporation gave it to the United States Forest Service, and it became part of the Carson National Forest. So it's about 100 and some thousand acres that used to be used as a hunting preserve by rich people, and there's still great hunting here. You got to draw an elk tag and all that kind of stuff, but it's still really good hunting.
Yeah, as we saw coming in today, we saw both deer And the pronghorn.
Yep.
I hope you can hear that.
The valley of life is not always all about life. There's a bone there. I'm not sure what kind of bone that is. I'm gonna guess that might be something out of a cow based on the size, possibly elk, but I'm not a bone guy. So this is the Rio Castilla. One of the cool things that they're doing here is a lot of restoration work, trying to bring back native fish species like the Rio Grande cutthroat trout. So they're doing work on the road to reduce runoff from the road. But one of the more interesting things is they have a lot of areas fenced in. Those fenced in areas are protecting the plants that grow along the river from things like elk and deer, because those plants are providing a lot of shelter and cover for those native fish. So on this tree, this is new growth, but what I'm really interested in is all these little white specks. Do not know what those are. If anybody has an idea, feel free to post down in the comments. There's also this purple growth, which might just be new growth that proceeds to that, or maybe it goes from that to that to that. I honestly don't know. This is kind of an interesting tree. So it just goes to show you, if you take a little bit of time and use a little patience, you can find the answers to your questions. I was curious the order of the growth of these things, but here we can see it goes from the brown to the new needles, and then the purple is most likely going to be a new cone of some sort. I'm not sure if this is classic geology, hydrology, biology, or ecology, but this is a perfect example of what we call an oxbow. An oxbow is a place where a river makes this U shape and then eventually cuts itself off. But these oxbows are really great places for fish because it slows the current down, gives them good places to lay eggs, gives them some calmer water. But we can really see this one, and we can even see right over here where it's cutting off and starting to form the real classic oxbow. I think there's an important lesson here. If you come out into nature and you spill a box of milk duds, you need to pick it up. It's not good for the animals. It's also possible that this is elk poop. That's actually probably what it really is. If you're looking for national park beauty without national park crowds, then the Valle Vidal is the place for you. While the Valle Vidal is special, it's not unique. Many of our public lands have amazing beauty just like this. It's important to get out and enjoy them and never take them for granted. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you on the next one.